Go.
Get ready, get set for the best movie and pop culture talk in the universe. It's the Good Brothers on Mercado Airwaves with your hosts, Alex Mercado and Mike Mercado.
Welcome back to another episode of the Good Brothers. It is the lovely voice. I am Alex. I am back from the dead. Mike brought me back. I am in the body of a doll right now, the newest Chucky AI. Mike, say hi to the folks.
Hi, folks, and it is not Chucky, sir. It is Buddy, the doll now, okay? We went back to, voiced by the great Mark Hamill himself. Good brother, that's right. We are back and better than ever, some would say. But we have a lot of stuff we have to get to. I'm sorry, copyright infringement. Sorry, no, you know what? No, BS, because, friend of the show, Conrad Thompson, said it was okay. He didn't say, don't sue us, Conrad, please, or Eric, or the WWE. But, Alex, we have a bunch of stuff we have to get into, speaking of suing, because if we don't do it, our fans, we're going to get out of our network because we missed the show last week, good brother. We were that damn busy over the last 2.5 weeks. And in case you've missed it on the network, we have a really cool interview with Donald Cowboy Cerrone, so check that out. But good brother, we have a lot of stuff to talk about at the box office, a lot of stuff to talk about at the home TV screen, and some stuff we saw on the interwebs. So why don't we get right into it?
Let's kick it back. Let's get to it.
All right, so grab your popcorn. We're going to the movie theaters. Let's all go to the movies because Godzilla King of the Monsters came out, and while it roared for some people, it definitely flopped in the box office numbers itself, opening at number 1, but with $47 million. Aladdin in its second week coming at $42 million. Rocketman in its opening week with $25 million at number 3. Mob opening up at $18 million. And John Wick Chapter 3 at 5 with $11 million. And just for all you keeping track, Avengers Endgame at $8 million. So, good brother, why don't we go ahead and talk about...
probably go, 5-1, honestly, and talk about all these movies.
So, John Wick, loved it. We reviewed it 2 weeks ago, so you guys can check out my review of John Wick Chapter 3.
Yeah, you really liked that one. I still have to catch it.
Yeah.
Luckily, we obviously split some movies in the summer, but I'm really excited about it, and it's already gone to John Wick 4, so that's good.
Yeah, so we know John Wick Chapter 4 is
good stuff.
Have not checked out mine yet, but I've heard it's a very run-by-the-mill movie, but I heard she's good.
She's
Octavia Spencer,
it's great, and these are these low-budget films that I like these movies that don't need to spend a lot of money, and I think they make more money, but I think we're also seeing that we'll see with Godzilla. Maybe horror is more a theater-going experience. For some reason, maybe monsters aren't.
Sure.
But I don't know.
And then coming in at number 3, we mentioned Rocketman at $25 million. They're talking a lot of good hype about this movie. Some saying it is better than Bohemian Rhapsody. It is.
I'd go on that page.
And it is based off of a musical. So this is something that it's more artistic.
It's very artsy.
Yeah.
They do go, it's our movie. They go into a lot of the more sexualized art, the drugs, his inspiration for the music. A lot of early love for Edgerton as a front runner for the Oscar.
Yeah.
Extremely early, but very Bradley Cooper-esque of he killed it. The movie killed it. I can see this movie being A Star is Born of this year.
Yeah.
And maybe he's the one winner. Okay. I do agree it's a little better than Bohemian Rhapsody.
No, yeah, and that's kind of the sentiment people are having right now.
A little bit.
So why don't we go ahead, Alex, and this is a movie that you've been really high on. I have not gotten a check to check it out. I'm actually going to check it out this week. It is Aladdin. It is a movie that, while at its time was having not the greatest of response, but all in all, it seems like the audience itself has really enjoyed it, and people love Will Smith and Naomi Scott in this movie. They love her rendition of the song that she had. So why don't we go ahead and we mentioned it on our Twitter, but why don't you give your review of Aladdin?
I mean, Aladdin is just fantastic, and Aladdin, I'll be honest, is my favorite movie of the year right now. Yes, Avengers is on that list, people. Aladdin's better, in my opinion. Art subjective. The music works. You're sitting there with a smile on your face. From Arabian Nights all the way to Friend Like Me, Will Smith, there is no one that could have done Robin Williams more honor than Will Smith. I'm trying to think of someone, and maybe in hindsight we'll think of someone, but Will Smith was the perfect role because he didn't take himself too seriously. He did his thing. It was fantastic. All the acting's good. The way they modernized the story is fantastic. You're sitting there being like, man, they're not going to do that. Like when you saw Jungle Book, they cut out some parts because you can't necessarily do all the monkeys dancing, just one. And you can't do this part. You only do a little bit. No, they did everything. And it's so astonishing to look and be like, they got every scene in the movie I wanted, from Genie's big old hands to the carpet to the Cave of Wonders. They do it all. And the acting's great. The music's great. Naomi Scott adds a song in there that I don't love, but I get why they put it in there, because you kind of got to kill another half hour. I love Will Smith. I love this movie, Mike. I've been listening to the soundtrack all day. I love the new renditions of the songs we get, because it's very subtle. Like, we get an extra verse to this song and maybe an extra to this song, and they do a little bit of tweak on this. The only song that stays completely true is the one that only needed to was A Whole New World.
Sure.
Which they couldn't touch, and they didn't touch. But, like, Arabian Nights changes for the better. Friend Like Me is almost 100%, but it's not Robin Williams, so they did have to change a little bit. The movie's fantastic. It's the best Disney live-action movie they put out for now. It's going to be number 2 after Lion King, probably. That's just, I mean, nothing's beating Lion King. It's a must-watch in the theater. If you love the original Aladdin, you'll love this movie. If you love Disney, you'll love this movie. If you love Will Smith, you'll love this movie. It's my favorite movie of the year, and I will defend it to the death.
So what grade would you give it out of 10?
I give it a 9.5 out of 10.
Very nice. So make sure you check out Aladdin in theaters and keep up with the network itself as I give my review, but the Good Brother gives it a glowing 9 and his favorite film of 2019, Aladdin. And that's with The Lion King right around the corner. So it's going to be very interesting. It's going to be so interesting to see where that plays out.
Everyone's going to watch that.
But Good Brother, we go from Arabian Nights to kaiju battles. It is time for Godzilla, King of the Monsters. Our review of this one, a movie that you and I both checked out together.
Yeah, good old Good Brothers.
At old school
opening. Yeah.
So why don't we go ahead and go from the beginning. What did you think about part 2 of the new Godzilla franchise?
I mean,
and this continuation of the universe?
We both did our written things. This movie's made for men like us, or people like us in general, we're huge kaiju fans. We're young boys. Like, we had the toys of Godzilla. We watched the cartoon. Our parents reminded us, they took us to a drive-in to see the remake of Godzilla, the really terrible one with Matthew Broderick. And we used to rent all the old school versus Mechagodzilla and Rodan.
Svengoolie played all of them.
Like, we were major Godzilla fans in our house, and King Kong fans and monster fans. So this movie was made for us. Mm-hmm. Is the acting bad? Yes.
Yeah.
Not because the actors are bad, but it's a monster movie, and that's what makes these monster movies good. It's a very throwback to the 80s, 70s, where, like, the dialogue doesn't need to be good because we're only going to give you so much of it.
And it doesn't really make sense.
It doesn't have to because
exactly.
We're living in a world where, I'm going to say right now, Mike won the bet.
Yeah.
Spoilers. They rule the world.
Yeah.
They destroy a lot more than I thought they would. And we're seeing the movie. I look at Mike. I'm like, well, you were right, I guess.
I'm like,
basically, a newscaster's like, yep, the world's destroyed, guys. Oh.
And it's right at that moment we had like that surreal. We both kind of look at each other. And I'm like, yes, it happened.
Right.
Like and I think that was a good thing.
That's a good thing to be wrong about.
Yeah.
Because that means they took it serious.
They took it where they needed to. Now, my big thing about this movie, and here are the quick reviews that we tweeted out. This is from the Good Brother at Mercado2 and Alex. Saw Godzilla King of the Monsters last night, and as far as a monster blockbuster goes, it's worth a watch. Great action scenes, plus amazing looking monsters. Can't wait for King Kong versus Godzilla next year. 8.5 out of 10.
What I capitalized, though.
King Kong, yeah.
Because he's going to be the champion.
Yeah. And then for me, I wrote, hashtag Godzilla King of the Monsters was super dope. 7 out of 10. Pure fun. Turn your brain off. Eat junk food and enjoy the madness. And I think that's what a lot of reviews are that. They're like, the movie's dumb. The lines are stupid,
but the monsters
are amazing. The scenes with them are amazing. I love Ghidorah scares me at some points. Just like how they would hide him in the shadows.
The size of these monsters when Ghidorah's carrying Godzilla, you're like, that's like a planet. You're like, that's a lot, and it looks fantastic. Like modern technology is it's amazing how good these monsters look.
But this has been my biggest thing about anybody who complains about too much CGI and all this and all that. The Godzilla that we love with the man in the suit, that era is gone. The idea, there is no such thing as a real Godzilla movie anymore. A real Godzilla movie is a man in a suit with miniatures. That doesn't exist anymore, and I'm okay with that.
I think what we got was a real Godzilla.
What we got is a modern day take of Godzilla, and also an American bloated budget of it, which is great. It means that this character's IP is very loved. Where it isn't very loved in, though, is the fact that it only made $47 million. Let me ask you, why did it only make that much money?
I'm going to say now, and I know you're on the opposite end of this because you're a very big Godzilla fan. Godzilla is not ours. Godzilla at his peak is a Japanese, across the pond, very Asian cultured legend. That's not our monster. Our monster is King Kong because that's New York. That's man at their worst going on ships and taking animals. That's our monster. So I feel like sometimes why King Kong did good. I think the first Godzilla did good because it was the first of its time. And everyone had to see what this was. And everyone liked it for the most part.
Sure.
And King Kong is our monster. He's American made. He's Ford. You're like, I need to support my boy. I think this movie comes out, you're like, the problem is for hardcore nerds like us, they already got us. They don't need to sell us.
Sure.
For the critics, you have bad writing. So now you're already going to go to negative that the writing's bad, which means the acting will be bad no matter who the actors are. Because you got fantastic actors in this movie.
In themselves,
but
yeah.
you can't do anything with them.
Sure.
Then you have people like our father, who we like to call the common moviegoer man. It's too much.
Sure.
It's too much for them. They're like, that's a lot of movie for me. I don't know if I can sacrifice that. So it's just, it doesn't, my thing with it is I loved it. But I wasn't the audience you should have been aiming for because I was going to love it regardless. I do think it comes down to Godzilla versus King Kong. King Kong will always do a little better in the States because he's ours, as where Godzilla is like a very nice Toyota Camry.
Now, let me ask you this. Where I differ from, I'm more of a Godzilla fan, but let me ask you, I do think King Kong definitely is America's. That's ours. That's our monster. That's our kaiju.
He destroyed our cities.
But this is where I say where Godzilla is special is not only the monsters that he did fight and the corniness of it, and we all grew up with it on public television, but he's a T-Rex. He's a dinosaur. And Americans love their dinosaurs. We do love our T-Rex.
We do, but we also spent all of our money on Jurassic World.
I was about to say, so let me ask you this. How much does it affect the kind of, even though I enjoyed it, the 2014 Taste of Godzilla, the 1998 Taste of Godzilla, and Jurassic World and Jurassic World 2 all came out after Godzilla.
We've had 2 Jurassic Park movies in the span we've had Godzilla and Godzilla 2. Like, it just wasn't set up right. And it's not, the movie's fine, and they're going to make more, and it made enough money overseas. But we're just trying to figure out why it's not the blockbuster that, Jurassic World as a terrible, same problems, looks terrible movie. Good actors with bad dialogue. Monsters look good, but it's terrible. It's making $1 billion.
Right.
Why is this not? Because I think it goes back to Godzilla maybe just doesn't sell like a Jurassic Park sells. Doesn't sell like King Kong
How
sells.
how does the Godzilla IP not sell more or as much as Transformers? How does Transformers, after 9 bad movies, still make all that monies, but Godzilla...
Robots are different.
But I understand that.
Robots sell.
More than a dinosaur and dragons?
No, because we're not talking about... We do sell dinosaur dragons. It's called Jurassic Park.
Sure.
There's just no room for Godzilla on that list where it's like, we got our robots here, got our big monkey, I'll take my dinosaur over there. Okay, Godzilla's a dinosaur. I already have dinosaurs. Well, what else do we got? We got more creatures. That's kind of a lot of creatures for my normal. I'm going to watch Jurassic Park. I know these dinosaurs.
So do you think Kong versus Godzilla makes more money than all of them?
Because it's Kong versus Godzilla. Freddy versus Jason made the most money out of all those movies, and it's not a good movie. Alien versus Predator made a lot of money. It doesn't have to be good when it's a versus, because this is something we've been waiting generations to see. So I think no matter what, it will be the best one. I still think this movie's fantastic, but no matter what, King Kong vs. Godzilla will make more money because it's a prize fight.
Now let me ask you this: do you think people love the merchandise and the idea of Godzilla more than they necessarily love going to see the newest Godzilla movie? In this aspect, his design is really cool. Yeah. His toys are cool. His clothes are really cool. His logo is cool. It's cool to have Godzilla stuff, but is it enjoyable to go watch a kaiju movie?
Well, here's the other issue: it's just very different culturally. Because when Godzilla was at its prime in the Middle East, in Asia, you got a new movie every 2 years. It was the superhero movie, so it was easy to keep liking it. Here, it's like we're getting a Godzilla movie every 3 years. And maybe it's just we forget sometimes. And we're like, yeah, Godzilla's cool. But, like, realistically, we've had 3 Godzilla movies in 25 years compared to 25 Godzilla movies in 25 years.
And I think, is it also the fact that the bloated budget makes these movies bigger flops? Because the idea is everybody knows who Godzilla is. So it is an IP everybody
recognizes. It's going to be harder
to
make your dime back.
But it's exactly the point. It's a movie that's hard to make your money back when you're not making it like they did in the 70s and the 60s and the 80s. Like
Godzilla's just weird. Like I think this proved to me and you that we may love Godzilla, but in the States, Godzilla may not be the ticket attraction
Unless
that we had thought. Because I don't see Universal going for a Godzilla ride. Kong came out, they threw a new ride in two weeks later. Jurassic World just got a re-upgrade. Why is Godzilla not getting this even after its somewhat success? I think it just comes down to he's fun, the character's cool, I want a plushie, I'll buy the toys. He's fine. Like, I think that's the opinion of everyone.
Yeah.
I freaking love Godzilla and the kaiju.
I think most people love Godzilla. I think it's hard to be invested in Godzilla.
I can love Godzilla without paying to see the movie, basically.
Exactly. And I think a lot of people have said it. Godzilla is great at 15-minute intervals on YouTube when you remember how badass Godzilla is, because Godzilla's badass. Yeah. But when you have to sit through 2 hours of bad Kyle Chandler lines and Bobby Brown,
the man.
He's amazing. I mean, look at some of these casts: Vera Farmiga, Ken Watanabe, Kyle Chandler. I mean, Vera Farmiga is one of the most popular actresses in all of Hollywood.
Like I'm saying,
and her plot makes no sense.
And I feel like we discovered it as we're going on the air now that we're mentioning these. We're like, man, Godzilla doesn't get the same love these other creatures do. Because, like I said, look at Universal
in the United
Studios.
States.
Like in the United States, like it's not as big of a deal as a King Kong, as a Jurassic World, and I think that's because we have those two. It's hard for Godzilla to live in that nest.
But I will say this: Godzilla, Mothra, Rodan, and Ghidorah look better than anything I've seen in Jurassic World or Jurassic World 2.
I agree with that, but I think King Kong looks the best of all of them.
Kong Skull Island was awesome.
I love Kong Skull Island. That's my favorite still. I agree. And then I go this one, and then the old Godzilla. Yeah. But they're all like amazing American-made monster flicks. Better than any Transformer, better than any of the modern Jurassic Worlds. And I like Jurassic World Part 1. I think Jurassic World Part 1 is as good as Jurassic Park.
Now, let me ask you, do you think people are blockbuster fatigued at this point? They needed a little bit of a break between all the movies that people have been going to see the last few weeks. You've had Aladdin, Endgame. There's just been a lot of movies that people have been, and we have a lot of movies coming out. And this happens every year, but it's every year more and more IPs that are recognizable. Not necessarily popular, but recognizable. Or, you know what, I have to take a break this week because this week is Pikachu. But maybe it's the opposite. It's like, oh, no, this week is this movie.
It's hard. And John Roca has a great theory about it where it's like he thinks one day down the line it's going to be, you know how, like this week, you have Rocky Man and Godzilla. You have to choose. Yeah. He thinks one day we're going to get to a point where theater's only for blockbusters. $200 million movies or more. So Godzilla's not, like in the future, Godzilla won't go against anyone because you're putting Maz, Rocket Man's,
John Wick,
even like just lower budget good movies. John Wick's even. Yeah, those are going to be home releases on Disney and Netflix, and all you're going to go to the theater is to see Endgame, Aladdin, The Lion King, Godzilla, King Kong, Star Wars. You're only going to see that. So now you're really like, okay, I'm seeing a movie every month to 2 weeks, where it's like. You're right. Like, look at our show we have to talk about. We had 5 movies to talk about just in top 5. Yeah. There's so much content out there. And, like, look, you have HBO, Game of Thrones.
And we'll get into that in a second.
We have all these TV videos to watch. Yeah. Like, there's just so much content. Playoffs are in right now. Baseball's in full. Like, there's so much going on. The fighting world's awake for another week right now.
And then you just had Anthony Joshua lose the heavyweight championship to Andy Ruiz.
I don't blame movies for, like, you could be the best movie like Dark Phoenix now. Now Godzilla's done 1 week, a week after Aladdin. And then it's Godzilla. Oh, now we have Dark Phoenix. And people are going to go, even if it doesn't make a bunch of money, people are going to go watch and say, well, I'm going to end this. Yeah. Like, even though, yes, it's getting terrible review. It's probably a bad movie. We all knew that going in, but people need to watch it because it's still the 9th of something.
And think about it, at some point, we're going to be at Spider-Man Far From Home, and we're going to be at The Lion King, and then we're
Toy Story,
and like Child's Play, and Terminator, and all these different movies are just going to be down the road.
That's just in like the next 2 months.
Yeah, and so it's very interesting, but yeah, it's a busy day in cinema. It's a busy time in cinema like always, but we do our best to make sure that we get our reviews out there. We'll have many more in the next few days as we catch up to some of the ones that we haven't been able to see.
Look at something like a Brightburn, even which I checked out. It's fine.
I'm actually going to go see Booksmart with Nicole, so I'm excited to go see that one.
But and Booksmart was probably the highest rated movie and didn't make a lot of money. Yep. But it's probably the more higher rated. And Brightburn was very fascinating and doesn't necessarily deliver, but it's different. Like there's so many movies, people. Watch as many as you can. Have fun.
It's enjoyable. Yeah. So we'll do our best to keep you guys in all of them here on The Good Brothers. Alex, we have some other stuff to talk about when it comes to entertainment. This time, though, it has to do with the TV world. There's a lot of amazing stuff out there. This is just some of the stuff that we've been watching, okay? When They See Us, Ava DuVernay's amazing piece over on Netflix.
In my opinion, the best thing on television nowadays, yes.
Chernobyl, the amazing 5-part miniseries on HBO that I just finished. I think it's the best of on television right now. And a show that I'm actually watching right now, Good Omens on Amazon Prime. So
Handmaid's Tale came back today. Black Mirror came back today.
Black Mirror, the first 3 episodes, people talking about Miley Cyrus crushing it in her episode. So a lot of amazing stuff on television. But the 3 I highlighted were Good Omens, Chernobyl, and When They See Us, since that's kind of what we're really in the middle of.
Those are the big award ones, because there's a lot of little rom-coms coming out, little shows, Ranch getting canceled. Like, there's a lot of little news, but we're trying to hit the real big heavy hitters because there was a lot of heavy hitters.
Right. So why don't we go ahead and you finish When They See Us. I'm just catching up with episode 1. You can see all 4 episodes right now on Netflix. But why don't you go ahead and give us your basic review of the series without any spoilers for anybody who doesn't know the court case, the true crime. So essentially, it is the Central Park 5. It is a story for a lot of you who know the West Memphis 3. A lot of parallels between those. But I don't want to give away too much about the case itself, so you could get enthralled in this miniseries.
We'll try to keep it short because we have so much time. Go watch.
Right. So with that in mind, what Ava did in this series, this 4-part, emotionally, artistically, what can you say about it?
Ava DuVernay is one of the best working directors in our industry. Not female, not African American, one of the best directors. This series is so important, and I throw that word around very, very like self-consciously, because I'm like, what's important? This is important. This is a series that's going to be hard to watch. It's a must-watch, just like the 13th, where it doesn't matter your race, your ethnicity, your religion, if you're poor or rich, whatever it is. It's a story we all need to hear and see. And these stories, when they're acted out by these fantastic actors and beautiful direction and these set pieces of Harlem and Brooklyn and just New York in general and the prison system, it's just, I'll be honest, I, as a grown man, cried multiple times in this series. And and my boy John Leguizamo's in it. That's our dad's favorite actor. He should win all the Oscars according to Dad. He's in it, playing the Hispanic father. Because that's the one part that I really appreciate is, people always talk about the African American aspect of it. There was a young Puerto Rican man involved in this, and I'm like, no, that's us too. Like, it's not. And I feel we always say Hispanics kind of get left behind sometimes because we're the punching bag. I feel like. You haven't been what we've been through. I'm like, no, we've been doing it in a different part, worse, before you, and we still don't. We just live our lives because that's all we can do. And I feel like we never get the representation we do. We don't got a Black Panther. We don't have any stories like that. And I'm not throwing anyone down. I'm just saying it's about time we do get a representation of the hardships we have to go through, especially in a modern 2019 America. So I think that's what that part really struck me. It moved me. It moved me beyond belief, and I haven't been moved that much. And it's fantastic. It's just so difficult, but it's the best thing Netflix has put out in such a long time.
Give me a score out of 10.
It's a 10. It's a 10.
And just so everybody knows, right now on Rotten Tomatoes, it has a 94%. So it is a must-watch. I will have my full review, and then we will have it all over social media as soon as both Good Brothers have it written down. Alex, I want to jump into Good Omens over on Amazon, and a little more of a, definitely more of a comedic way to go through this. What's so great about When They See Us, like you said, is how important it is. How important it is to culture, to society, to live on the world that we live in right now, to have a story like that, and for it to be, for the way it ends, and I'm not going to say how it ends, but for how it all kind of comes together, it is a must-watch for everybody, like you said, and for people to really grasp how the magnitude of it. And then you get to a show like Good Omens, which is such a palate cleanser, and it's almost a necessity in today's medium because it's so quirky, it's so smart, it's so fun, it's so charming, and I can't say enough about it. It's a 6 episodes so far, and I'm loving everything about it. I love the main actors in it. Obviously, Michael Sheen and David Tennant are amazing as the angel and the demon. It is just a funny take at mythology and the history of time and how they played an influence in it. And the basic story is the end of the world is coming and the Antichrist has been misplaced. They was actually switched at birth. It was a whole thing, but it's great. It's a very fun television show, and you should watch the first 2 episodes. And if you're not in after the first 2 episodes, you're not going to be in for the rest of the series. Yeah. But if you're in on those first 2 episodes, you're in for
Is it like an American Gods sort of show?
I would say it's much more like a
Supernatural.
No, it's definitely more like a buddy cop. It's like an Odd Couple. It's more like an Odds Couple, but with angels and demons with powers.
And this is Amazon?
This is on Amazon. Okay. It's a really, and just for all you, it's an 84% right now on Rotten Tomatoes and a 92 with the audience. So it's a really fun hit. It is based off of Neil Gaiman's book. So it's just a very fun time to watch on Amazon. But Alex, I use this as the palate cleanser.
You want to feel bad again?
Because we have to feel bad again. Let's jump into HBO. In their 5-part miniseries, crushing it right now. Jesus, these shows on Chernobyl.
Here's my thing. With Chernobyl, I put you on it because I'm like, this show's legit. And I love this show. And I'll be honest, it's the best acted show this year so far and probably will be the whole year.
Yeah.
It's the story of the old school USSR, nuclear power plant exploding, the cover-ups. This is more of a story as more of a big government. When we were dealing with more of a small government in New York, now we're dealing with a country, a palace, a conglomerate dealing with cover-ups and the murder and deaths of innocent people without their knowledge. And it's sad and it's so well acted. And, you know, HBO really came hard and they're like, oh, yeah, Game of Thrones is done. Boom. Walk off.
People are talking about it, just like everybody's talking about.
This has to be like a 98.
This is a 95 and a 98. So a 95 from critics and 98 from the audience.
It deserves that.
And I finished episode 5 before we recorded, and powerful episode. And this is why it's important that we really wanted to include, you know, Good Omens is kind of for all our pop culture nerds out there that want to be part of the comic book and the book realm and everything. Yeah. But the importance of when they see us in Chernobyl for 2 different things. One, about how important lies and big governments and conspiracies are to a country, and how big lies, conspiracy, and just injustice is locally to you. And just by people's stature and by how people judge and by how people's interests really determine a lot of these people's fates. And in Chernobyl, we saw it in such a mass level, in the macro with disease, radiation, cover-ups, and when they see us in the micro of locally what it does to them,
and young men and
2 important shows, 2 such important shows.
It's 9 hours total. Let's just add around that 10 hours total
between these 2 shows.
It's worth it. And people, we're telling you this now because these 2 shows are going to be talked about for generations. We're not just saying these are pretty good shows. You know, we could say that there are plenty of shows out there that are like, I like that.
Yeah.
Like Krypton. It's good. It's fine.
Yeah.
Happy. It's fine.
Like cool Walking Dead.
These are shows that are going to go 1 season. They're not going to have season 2s or nothing. That will be known in history as some of the best things Netflix put out and HBO's put out. It's going to be talked about at award season. It's culturally going to change the landscape of how we do these mini-series about true events. So we're trying to help everyone out and be like, listen, jump ahead of this. Because this will, I get it's just slow. Now it's creeping in a little bit. Because now people are like, oh, what is this show? 5 episodes? Because I do appreciate when people are like, let me just wait till it all comes out to binge. Oh, what's this on Netflix? What's this on Netflix? Yeah. People, this is something we're going to be talking about all year. Jump in that train. Because you're going to want to be part of this water cooler conversation with both these shows. And it's 10 hours well worth it. Again, maybe throw a palate cleanse, maybe throw a Rick and Morty in there or something in between.
Like
or
maybe a Good Omens.
A Good Omens, throw it. I don't care what show the show is. I would not watch these back to back. Yeah. I would throw Black Mirror in there for God's sakes.
And shout out to Black Mirror. According to everybody, Miley Cyrus is killing that. So we will have a review of the episodes that we catch of Black Mirror coming up in just a couple episodes.
I mean, TV is going in its prime now. Handmaid's Tale, like Big Little Lies about to come out. Like where Barry is killing it this season.
I'm gonna get into Barry.
Barry's good. Yeah. Barry's very good.
I'm gonna get into Barry.
I'm not a huge comedy guy, but I love my dramedies.
Yeah,
I like Bill Hader. I need a little dramedy. Yeah. I love Bill Hader.
Do you like Last Week Tonight? I don't watch.
I watch Daily Show.
See, I watch Last Week Tonight every Monday because YouTube gives all his clips. Yeah. I think it's a brilliant show.
No, I love shows. If I'm going to get news, I want my news with a little humor.
Yeah, it's a brilliant show.
I can't just do hardcore news. I was talking to my boss about it. He watches CNN. Yeah. And he's like, "Do you not watch the news?" I'm like, "Well, I watch the news, but I watch like Daily Show or like
I have to watch the news.
YouTube like last week or I prefer things like that where I can get a little satirical with it.
Yeah.
Than just 32 bodies dead. The government's evil. Donald Trump did Donald Trump things. Britain hates him. I don't know.
Jon Stewart is one of my inspirations of why I got into the media world. Like, I love the Daily Show back when it was Jon Stewart. I like Trevor Noah a lot too.
I love Trevor Noah.
Yeah,
no, but
I love
Jon
Trevor,
Stewart's
but
the
Jon
man.
Stewart was the guy. One of the guys
you
who was
went
fine.
like to a legend to another legend.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jon Stewart's still
and Stephen
the OG.
Colbert. The Colbert Report was one of my favorite shows ever. Like,
it changed the landscape of people because now we can talk about these things. And now it's like you don't have to be a uppity white male to talk about politics.
And how it's transformed into miniseries like Chernobyl and When They See Us, how we have this whole spectrum of it and how important it is. But I think all in all, between When They See Us, Good Omens, Chernobyl, Black Mirror, Pretty Little Lies, Barry, Handmaid's Tale, and even Game of Thrones, you have a lot of stuff on your table right now that you could watch and you get hooked on. And then hell, even myself, I still have to get into Ozark before the next season comes out. Like, there's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of. There's enough to watch before we talk about these going backwards.
So I think all passing grades, good brother. What do you think?
There's a lot to watch out there. We're not going to say it's all perfect, but there's definitely a ton to watch. So if you ever need to know what should I watch, we just named 6 movies and 7 TV shows that have plenty of content to get involved in. So,
good brother, why don't we go ahead then and move into the trailers that we missed over the last few weeks? And I only want to hit on 2 really big ones. Yeah, why don't we go into the first one, Terminator Dark Fate. Same here. You know what I hate the most? You have the dopest, and I know it's a joke everywhere, but I was talking this about our uncle at the Cubs game we went to, that you have the dopest theme song in the Terminator song, and you don't use it.
Here's my problem with Terminator, Jurassic Parks, all these very nostalgia things.
Yeah. Member berries.
You have more bad movies than good. Like, I'm not the biggest Jurassic Park fan. I like Jurassic Park, I like Jurassic World. Yeah. Part 2, Part 3, and Part 2 of the other one sucks. So you have 2 good movies. And not even 2, I think 2 good ones. So according to the snobby critics, which I love some critics, but some of these are a little obnoxious.
Sure.
1 good Jurassic Park movie.
Sure.
Why do we care? According to Terminator, we have 2 good Terminator movies and like 6 bad ones.
Sure.
Why do I care? Like, I don't care anymore because I like Salvation. You said it was bad. Jenny Smith was fine. We said it was terrible. I don't care anymore then. I don't care about Sarah Connor anymore.
I should go back and the Salvation thing is, it's not that it's a bad movie because I loved it at the time.
Bad.
Yeah, I loved it at the time, especially how big of a Batman nerd I am. But going back at it, that's not Terminator.
But at this point, neither is Part 1 to Part 2. So it's like we're in love with characters of hindsight.
Yes.
Because the Terminator we got in Part 1 is not the one in Part 2. We just love both of them.
They're great movies.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. It's like, then you can't come at me like, I love the Collider family, but for them to be hyped about this one coming up, I'm like, why? It's going to be the same as the other ones. Yeah. What did you think was going to happen?
Because they like Ghost Rider.
And now it's like, okay, if I told you hand to gun, I'd ask them people, Terminator 1, Terminator 2, we need to pick a style. You're going to get arguments there like, well, I want more horror. Well, I kind of want more action.
Yeah.
You're already not agreeing.
Yeah.
Same with the aliens. Like, that's why I'm just so over the Terminator franchise, because we can never get what we want because we can't agree what it was.
Well, we did get something we might want, including the soundtrack in the new Rambo Last Blood trailer.
Thank God for consistency.
I will tell you something right now. No matter what you say about that franchise, you know exactly what you're getting when you see Rambo on the title.
That's a perfect transition, Mike, because, like, again, we're talking about all these franchises that we love, member berries, but they don't know what they are. Rambo is like that low-key one of, like, you know exactly what you got. Rambo 4 was fantastic.
Loved it.
One of my favorites. Bringing him back. Indonesia, all that stuff. Cambodia. Like, it was so great.
And First Blood's
classic.
It's a classic.
But, like, he never changes. He's a traumatized war veteran who's getting messed with.
And now he's messing with the cartels.
That's what I'm saying.
I love
he's a good, he's consistent. Yeah. And look what happens when you're consistent. People jump on board.
Oh, yeah, and people are on board for this one.
People be like, yeah, I don't care if he carries a machete, because he's always carried a machete.
And even Billy Ray Cyrus was in on it, man.
It's fan. I love this. I love that song.
I love the song on that trailer.
It's so great.
On that trailer, I'm like,
but like, it
really?
only works in a Rambo movie.
It's so funny.
Because
the song. Okay, I shouldn't say the song sucks. Yeah. I shouldn't say the song sucks.
It's not your type.
But it's not my favorite. But for that trailer, I'm like, oh, this kind of banging.
Oh, you're not a 6-year-old little child, Mike?
I guess not. I'm sorry. I apologize. But damn it, if it did not bang on that trailer.
Fun. It's consistent. The consistency when it comes to your tone, I think a lot of movies need to go to that and be like, what is our tone? They liked it that time. Let me be consistent. And yes, you get your movies like your Harry Potter franchise who got darker and got better.
Sure.
Like, it does work sometimes.
But they grew up with their audience, though.
But for certain movies, you have to just be like, I know what we are. I know my audience. I'm going to be what it is.
Well, you just said it because it's the two things you just said it. This Rambo movie is a rated R movie meant for people our age and older. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what it's built for.
How many people in that theater were like, Rambo?
Rambo,
I think that was the only time everyone in the theater was like, yeah, I'm going to watch that. I'm going to watch that.
But it's the same thing of what you just said about the Harry Potter movies. The Harry Potter movie, the producers at Warner Brothers, the directors, allowed the movies to go with the age of the demographic they were aiming for. And movies that succeed do that. They go with the pulse. If you notice, Shazam, Wonder Woman,
Look at Hobbs and Shaw. Look at
that.
the Fast and the Furious franchise. I may not love them, but I appreciate them being like, they make $1 billion because the people that do love them are hardcore and they know they're getting it. And even there, I sat there and began the trailer. We were watching Godzilla. I was talking about, I'm not going to watch that. Trailer ends. I was like, that was the most bro thing ever. And everyone in the theater was like, yeah, I'm going to watch that. I got to watch it. But he jumped off a train.
And the crazy thing is, I was talking to Nicole about this, that if you think about Fast and the Furious 1, 2, 3, and even 4, they are so different than what happened as soon as Dwayne Johnson.
It's like the end of 4
yeah,
up till now. You're like, now we know we're a heist. We're an obnoxiously car heist movie, and I love it.
He's a superhero. The Fast and the Furious franchise has become, and I love that though it's Hobbs and Shaw and not Fast and the Furious, because then they can always kind of pretend like it could go back to reality in some way. But to me, it goes back to there's so many damn movies, good brother. But we saw all these trailers that have come out, and is there any other trailer that you kind of want to hit on before?
Charles plays in a few new things. The Lion King finally came out with some boys. We finally got Beyonce. So I told you, Mike, from day one, I'm like, when Beyonce talks, the world will listen, and the world has listened. This movie will make the most money all year. This movie will beat Avengers money because Beyonce alone is that big of a star. I think
we'll put the money on the table. Does Lion King overtake Avengers Endgame? Avengers Endgame is a movie that might be the #1 movie of all time.
Yes.
Okay, it's on record. I think it has a chance to break top 5.
I would buy those tickets as soon as they come out.
I agree. No, I'm not. The question isn't whether we're going
that's
to.
What I'm saying. Like, there are certain movies where we can wait a night, or we get the early thing, and we're like, we'll wait a little bit. This is not one of those movies. This is one of those movies you wait a minute, I think you will not see it opening night. And here's the tough part. There's no spoilers in this movie. People are just going to go to tropes to this movie for nostalgia.
Yeah.
Beyonce.
And the songs.
Live action.
Yeah.
And I'll call it nostalgia. Like, those reasons are big. Like, there's just, this star power in this movie is ridiculous.
Nope.
Like, you know, Seth Rogen's our favorite actor, probably.
Yeah.
For some odd reason.
Leave that. That's gonna. Is that how people are gonna remember this show? That Seth Rogen's our favorite actor.
He's our. All that's right. That's your. Peak,
on that note, I want everybody.
He was on GQ. Give him a break.
On that note, I want everybody to also take a moment, since we are talking about trailers and stuff. E3 is around the corner, and I just did a Pokemon reaction video to the Pokemon Direct that came out, and we know that Sword and Shield will be coming out this November. Good brother, I had this conversation with Super Mercado Bro Marcos about the where he wants to get. He actually thinks that the Shield version looks cooler than the Sword version. I think the Sword looks cool, but if they're 2 wolves, so that's pretty dope. But we did a reaction video to that, and we are doing reaction videos to a bunch of different things, and we will be doing it all throughout E3. And we did it during some sports stuff. And good brother, before I get out of here, the Toronto Raptors are now up 2-1, and you have a bet going on with Cisco about this game going 5. So you do know it's going 7, right? The series will go 7 games.
It's going 5, Mike.
Yeah, it's for sure going 7. And I hope Game 7 is a double overtime. You know, I hope Game 5 happens and Toronto's up 3 games to 1, and it goes double overtime and Golden State pulls it out to pull out a Game 6.
Luckily, Mike also guessed the Cubs would be the worst team in the MLB, so it's fine.
When did I say that? Because you can
sounds
hear
like some shit you say.
You can hear all my episodes of Sports from the Couch right now on the Mercado Airways Network,
and I
bet you won't feel that at all. And also, Craig Kimbrell has signed with the Chicago Cubs, good brother. So they have a closer in theory.
I knew it all along. I trusted them from day one. Never doubted them for a sec. Cubs are the best team ever.
Why are you saying that with it's such weird bug eyes and your hands crossed, Alex? That is so weird.
Shut
your
up,
finger
Mike.
crossed.
People can't see that.
All right, good brother. I think that is enough for our nonsense for a day. Anything else you want to hit on before I get out? Oh, one more thing we want to get out here. We are going to be covering wrestling a lot more, especially heading into October with the AEW deal happening. WWE moving to Fox in October. John Moxley, a.k.a. Dean Ambrose, had 2 fascinating interviews with one with Chris Jericho on his podcast and one with Wade Keller. What did you think about it really fast? The interview that was Jon Moxley on both podcasts.
It's eye-opening. It's not eye-opening in the sense where it's new news, but it's finally clarified of like, okay, that rumor was true, that rumor was true. Okay, why don't they go off script? Well, because people will get fired then. Like, there's a lot in there that like you're going like, that's why, or I knew it, or oh, that makes more sense.
Now, I'll never forget where I was the day the CM Punk one interviewed that it dropped. Because I was actually opening up the radio station as a fill-in. I will never forget the moment the internet stopped when the tweet came out from Colt Cabana that he was on the podcast. So my question to you is, which is the bigger deal? The CM Punk interview or the Jon Moxley one?
Punk was just complaining, and then we got a little... It was more he say, she say, doctor's bad. This was actual, we have rumors, they're true. Why did this go wrong here? Why do people not do this? This is why... I understand. It was very inside.
Sure.
Like, it's definitely, I think it's like a billion times more than the Punk interview.
And before we get out of here, which was better, NXT TakeOver 25 or AEW Double or Nothing?
NXT TakeOver 25.
I agree. What was your favorite matchup?
The best match of the weekend was Dustin and Cody.
Interesting.
Dustin and Cody as brothers. If you don't think that's the best match, I hate you and you're not at my wedding anymore. But as a show, NXT 25.
I didn't. You said the best match. Best story might be that. What was the best match?
The ladder match.
Okay.
Tag team ladder match.
Interesting. I think I would still go with either Strong or Riddle, but you know I'm a Matthew Riddle guy.
You love Matt Riddle.
That's
though.
my guy.
We know that.
Yeah, that's my guy.
You keep saying it, and he's a champ one day. Now you can say you called it.
I've called a lot of guys on NXT specifically. I cannot wait to call this one as well. Adam Cole Gargano, what do you think?
I like Gargano. He's maxed out. You're not gonna do anything.
What about Cole?
Again, they're small. They're not gonna do anything in the main roster, and so it changes. So it's very unexciting. I love NXT, and then you watch the next year, you're like,
it's so funny that
you're like, okay, Aleister Black might get a push because they're not doing anything. Ricochet's whatever he is. War Raiders aren't even there, and you're like, it's just so sad. You're like, man, unless things change, besides Bray Wyatt, I hate WWE.
And what's sad is they're not even small guys. They're just small for the land of the giants, known as the WWE.
Mean, those two are actually kind of tiny.
They're Adam Cole's not.
They're shorter than us. We're not that tall.
No, Adam Cole is tall. He's about our height, but he's skinnier. Yeah. Johnny Gargano's a small dude.
These guys are like 5'8", 5'9".
But what's funny is Tommaso Ciampa is a small dude, but he carries himself as a bigger man.
He seems like 6 foot.
Yeah, and he like carries, but he's not. He's actually a smaller dude. But I wanted to hit on that before we get out of here. But Alex, let's wrap this bad boy up. Any last words for the fine people?
Last words.
All right, guys, make sure you check out my interview with Donald Cowboy Cerrone before his huge fight against Tony Ferguson at UFC 238 here in Chicago at the home that Jordan built, the home that the Blackhawks won 3 Stanley Cups, the Bulls won 3 NBA titles, but I guess they won, it might have been 4 NBA titles. I don't remember. They won 6 altogether. That's all that really matters. Michael Jordan statue hanging out there, looming over the Octagon as UFC takes over Chicago this Saturday. For the Good Brother himself, Alex Mercado. I'm Mike Mercado. We'll see you on the next episode of the Good Brothers here on the Mercado Airwaves Network.
Thanks for joining us here on The Good Brothers, here on Mercado Airwaves. Enjoy our shows? Follow the Mercado Airwaves crew all over social media. Like us on Facebook at Mercado Airwaves. On Instagram, Nicole is at Typing When Tipsy, Alex is at Mercado2121, Mike is at Mike Mercado2333, and our true crime show is at Murder Mysteries and More. And on Twitter, Nicole is at Typing When Tipsy, Alex is at Mercado21Alex, and Mike is at MMercado2333. You can follow the network at Mercado Airwaves. Follow our pop culture show on Twitter at Good Brothers Pod. Get us on the go by downloading our programs anywhere you get your favorite podcast, like iTunes, SoundCloud, Podbean, Stitcher, and other popular sites. Just search us at Mercado Airwaves. While you're at it, please like, rate, review, and share us with your friends. Visit us on youtube.com/MikeMercado2333. Click the subscribe and like button to get notified every time a new episode or interview is posted. Support Mercado Airwaves by visiting patreon.com/Mercado Airwaves, the home of our interviews with athletes and celebrities, which you can get ad-free and early before it's released to the public. Come play video games with us on Twitch, twitch.tv/Mercado Airwaves Network. Mercado Airwaves is powered by Munch Art Design. Like them on Facebook at Munch Art Design. Voiceover work on Mercado Airwaves is performed by Josh Fox. Enjoy our shows? Follow the Mercado Airways crew all over social media. Like us on Facebook at Mercado Airways. On Instagram, Nicole is at Typing When Tipsy, Alex is at Mercado2121, Mike is at Mike Mercado2333, and our true crime show is at Murder Mysteries and More. And on Twitter, Nicole is at Typing When Tipsy, Alex is at Mercado21Alex, and Mike is at mmercado2333. You can follow the network at Mercado Airways. Follow our pop culture show on Twitter at Good Brothers Pod. Get us on the go by downloading our programs anywhere you get your favorite podcast, like iTunes, SoundCloud, Podbean, Stitcher, and other popular sites. Just search us at Mercado Airwaves. While you're at it, please like, rate, review, and share us with your friends. Visit us on youtube.com/MikeMercado2333. Click the subscribe and like button to get notified every time a new episode or interview is posted. Support Mercado Airways by visiting patreon.com/Mercado Airways, the home of our interviews with athletes and celebrities, which you can get ad-free and early before it's released to the public. Come play video games with us on Twitch. Twitch.tv/Mercado Airwaves Network. Mercado Airwaves is powered by Munch Art Design. Like them on Facebook at Munch Art Design. Voiceover work on Mercado Airwaves is performed by Josh Fox.
What's up, friends? Mike here from Mercado Airwaves. If you missed any one of our past interviews with amazing guests like future Hall of Famer and pound for pound best fighter in the world, UFC flyweight champion Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson,
It's another day at the office, I get to go out there and test my skill.
to award-winning producer, director, and actor Orlando Jones,
Orlando, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, sir. I'm good, brother. How you doing?
and all the other interesting guests we've had on. Joining us today is director and writer David Ferrier.
Thanks so much, brother. I appreciate you having me on the show.
MMA legend Chael Sonnen joins us today.
Keep listening to your show. This is great. Thanks, my friend.
Just subscribe to us on iTunes at Mercado Airwaves. And while you're there, please like, review, and rate us, friends. It helps so much. We also have a Patreon for anyone who would like to support the show. Just visit us at patreon.com/Mercado Airwaves and see how you can get all of our interviews ad-free and before anyone else, and how you can get your business or company spotlighted on the show. Follow us on Twitter at mmercado2333. Like us on Facebook at Mercado Airwaves. Subscribe to us on YouTube, youtube.com/MikeMercado2333. And if you would like to see what we're up to behind the scenes, follow us on Instagram, MikeMercado2333. Thanks for listening and all the support.